You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's True Blood After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's True Blood After Show.
Bing is for doing, and we are here doing another wrap-up of True Blood. No, you keep going. That's fine. All right, so this is Season 5, Episode 4, We'll Meet Again. I'd like to point out that the reason this is happening right here is because we've been talking about Magic Mike.
Yes.
And so everything has become a sexual innuendo.
Everything is a metaphor for
which will fit in
Mike.
really nicely with True Blood.
It's true. So you've been warned, just so you know. Now, before we start, make sure you go to iTunes, subscribe, rate us nicely, please. Send us comments. We read all of your comments. What are you laughing at?
I like nicely, please.
Nicely,
Sorry, keep
please.
going.
All right. Yeah.
Well, if you're gonna rate us nicely.
Yes, that would be really, really
Thank
nice.
you.
Yeah, tell your friends. Subscribe. Twitter at AfterBuzz TV.
Nicely.
All right.
Nice intro.
Why,
Fantastic.
thank you. Well,
Smooth.
I was inspired by the dancing.
Oh yeah. We're not gonna do it.
No,
we'll save
no more.
throughout the show.
It'll just be annoying after a while. Sorry.
Yes.
I'll let JC take care of it.
All right. So we're we're gonna
We
start.
do have, although I will say this, it's sort of related because we did have a club scene.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes. If we. Well, no, we'll get to that later
Yeah.
because that was
Okay.
sort of toward
Yeah.
the end of the episode.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But let's start off with Pam and Eric.
Yes.
This was intense. This was intense.
Emotionally
You could hear a pin drop in the room when we were
I know.
when we were watching the episode. All of a sudden, it was like,
And we were chewing popcorn.
yeah.
So
You guys were.
we stopped chewing for that.
Darn sure, Skippy, I stopped chewing that.
Yeah.
popcorn.
Well, here's the thing. Like, okay, so this, as Ross said last week, this is all about parental, parents, children, family relations. This whole season, progeny, and so Eric actually repudiated Pam.
Yeah.
And he did it to set her free. Although I don't really know, honestly, what difference it would have made.
Yeah, to be connected. I feel like wouldn't I think that I don't know, it's a really good question. Perhaps she would have felt the true death more acutely,
She
or
might
perhaps
have.
she would have felt more obligated.
Don't they-
Or perhaps she can only go so far away until she's released.
I fell in love with Pam tonight.
Didn't you?
honestly.
I've been in love with
I
Pam
love
forever.
Pam
No,
so
no.
much.
Honestly, I have to make a confession. Pam wasn't one of my favorite characters. Honestly, she was for me, and a lot of my friends.
AFTERBUZZ TV exclusive.
Thank you, Ben Bottomley. No,
Shocking.
No, I loved her one-liners, but that
Right.
was it for me. It always seemed that she was angry throughout the years, and I could have done without her. I feel bad saying that, but literally, I've done a 180 just in this episode, and the whole season. But tonight, there's nothing but love for Pam. I absolutely adore her character.
Yeah.
She's so beautiful, and she is the only person that calls Eric on his shit.
Yeah, exactly. They really need one another. And I think that for me, theirs has been one of the purest loves presented on the show
Absolutely.
and it's the one that I can really buy into the most. And I mean, we saw some of the father-daughter relationship between Jessica and Bill as well.
Which was adorable.
Which was adorable, but it doesn't have, and this is a testament to the actors, it doesn't, as you're watching it, feel like it has the weight of the years that the Eric and Pam relationship does. And that is all to, Kristen Bauer and Alexander Skarsgård and what they have developed over the years. And I think it was really important to Alexander Skarsgård, even when they started the show, he wanted to invest in his relationship with Pam because he thought it was a really interesting dynamic. And I think in this episode, all of that work has really, really paid off because it's heartbreaking to watch them separate, but it's what a parent and a child ultimately need to do. I mean, that's what we need to do as human beings is eventually separate from our
Yeah.
parents.
In fact, there's actually the speech that he gives her saying like, well, now you're a maker, and it's a very parental speech. But they've also had, in a way, a marriage.
Yeah.
Which after, I imagine, not having been married for a century, but I imagine after a while, it's not about the sex anymore. It's about the close relationship. And it was, we still have this, but I'm letting you go.
Yeah.
Well, I was under the impression that the reason why it was important for him to release her wasn't just to denounce their connection as family, but more, and this was coming back to what you guys were talking about, like why they felt the need to do it, because obviously they could still talk to each other as kind of father and daughter afterwards. But it seems like if he got into trouble, she wouldn't feel this undeniable urge to go
run
and
to him.
Right.
run to him and then get involved,
Yeah.
possibly put herself in harm's way, which is what she doesn't have to do. I mean, she doesn't have to denounce the relationship, but she will at least not be bound by that emotional urge that they get when they're connected to their maker.
Yeah.
That was going to be my question. How does this change her arc now for the rest of the show?
Well, I think her arc now becomes a lot about her dynamic with Tara.
Concur.
Yeah.
And I think that it becomes about Pam. And I think that the show has made a really smart decision to focus on Pam this season a bit and make that work, because I think that we're going to see her develop into a more rounded character than we have seen in the past that delivered one-liners and funny. And I think she's always been one of my favorites, but Kristen Bauer can certainly handle the task of filling out this character. And I think immediately we see her as a mother with Tara. She's still Pam, 3 days old and an eating disorder. Why me?
I know.
I mean, it's amazing.
I know. But
a
like,
great
look
quote.
at just like the moment she opened the coffin and looked at
Yeah.
Tara sleeping. And it was just,
She
it was a
looked kinda
long drawn out
loving.
moment. I was like, oh, Mom.
Well, they had established her as the one-liner, but always as the progeny. She was
Yeah.
always kind of like, if Eric said jump, she'd say how high.
Right.
Now, as you said, I concur. I mean, I do agree. I think now she's going to be like, okay, well, I've learned from the best. Now I'm going to make my own legacy.
Right.
Right.
And I think Pam's going to have I think she's going to go to the school of Kenny Powers for parenting skills.
Awesome.
Because some of the skills you can see, like when Tara was in the tanning bed, and she was just like, let her burn. But she's teaching her lessons. And
Yeah.
she's not going to be the best parent, but she's
It'll be the school of hard knocks.
yeah,
Right,
exactly.
right.
They're both going to learn as they go. I think.
Yeah.
But I think another thing that's kind of interesting and lovely in a way is that Tara had such a horrible relationship with her own mother, who was this addict and really drained the life out of her through her whole human life. And she really destroyed a lot of things for her, and she made her into the kind of hardened girl that she is in a way. And so this is her second chance to have a loving mother-daughter relationship. And I do think that Pam's going to be a good parent for Tara, because Tara's not the kind of human being that would respond really well to a bunch of BS and a bunch of coddling. She needs that.
I think you hit it right on the head. It's just the life lessons, the way she's going to teach it will be right, but the way she's going to convey that message, I think might be
It's
a
not
little.
Betty Crocker. It's not a
Yeah, it's gonna be like sandpaper of love. It's gonna cut it.
Sandpaper of love. I like that.
Sandpaper of love. I hope someone is writing the lyrics to that #1 hit right now.
Please leave it in the
Sandpaper
comments,
of
because I actually want to hear it.
Isn't that an interesting dynamic too? That Tara came from in her human life. She had a mother who came from nobility, in the sense that she was a noble mother first, and then she fell from grace and became an addict, a drug addict, an alcoholic, and so on. And now it's the exact difference, the exact opposite. Pam used to be considered on the lowest rung of society as a prostitute and a madam, and then she was raised to nobility, so to speak, by becoming a vampire. So I kind of saw it as an interesting dichotomy between something that fell and wasn't a good enough mother, and now something that came from somewhere down. I don't know. Is that making any sense?
No, I'm just. We're 8 minutes in, and it's like deep. It's
I
like
know.
we left off for last week. We were talking about the politics and Thomas Jefferson, and now
love
Yeah.
that.
I know, that was
Yeah,
kind of
we're not
awesome.
messing around
Last
anymore.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
buckle in.
That was great.
I'd also like to point out that Tara said what we've all been thinking.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to run to Sookie. Someone's
Yes.
always going to save someone.
Always.
Yeah.
And Lafayette did. I mean, this
Yep.
week was all about them and I think this is, again, another example we've talked about that we think that the writers are really listening. People complained a lot about that, because it's like, it's always about Sookie. Sookie, Sookie. Like she's the center of the freaking universe.
Roth doesn't even bother
which-
with the E anymore. It's just Sookie.
No, it's Sookie. Sookie. It's okay. Like she's gonna forget her name. You know what I mean? Like that was the thing that I was like, why are they saying her name so much? But and rightfully so. I mean, she is the center of this particular universe in a way. Right. But I think it's great that they've called out now and said, okay, we're gonna shift these relationships now. We're gonna address the fact that everyone's sort of coming to her rescue and literally now dying for her. And how are their relationships going to rebalance out so that they can have a healthy relationship with Sookie?
Yeah, I mean, we can even talk about the final moments of the episode with Bill and Eric standing outside while she's totally hooking up with Alcide. Because you love me. You love me. You'll do anything for me. I just killed your ex-girlfriend and you still like me. Wow.
No, but now the thing with Sookie is,
I love Sookie.
Could she be a little reckless this season?
I hope so.
Yeah, and understandably so, considering all the stuff she's been through.
She's had a rough go of it.
Well, but she's embodying some of the wrong choices that Tara would make. Like, let's say jumping in with Alcide, is that the best move right now in the present state where she's in?
Have you seen him naked?
Wait. Every time we say Alcide,
speaking of, no.
Here we go.
I'm not faking this. It's all full on frontal and Magic Mike.
I'm going to see this movie the second the show is over.
I would know because I'm a guy.
That's what's happening in Magic Mike, just so you know. However,
thank
you.
Okay,
thanks.
I know where you're
Honestly,
going.
wait till you see it.
No, but there is something for
Once
guys.
again, I'm a guy.
I think his point is he won't see it because he's a guy.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification.
Oh,
all right,
totally
Your
saying
Honor.
it.
And I'm the hippie of the group. I'm going to try to bring us all together. But
Please do.
Olivia Munn is in it, and I believe she is also topless. Yes. So
Yes.
Okay.
there is a girl quotient. So
There is.
3 minutes out of the 143-minute run time. So
Okay.
She's topless for longer than 3 minutes.
Well, I think that makes up. This makes up for all the not thousands, 100 years of naked girls in movies.
Well, speaking of Magic Mike and to True Blood, it did balance out a little bit, which we get into a little bit later with the fairy world and the fairy club. Yes, stuff for guys.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you for the most amazing club in the middle of absolutely nowhere.
Before we move on to the fairy club?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Wait, but to your point about her making this choice with Alcide, I don't think it's the best choice for her, but it's a really understandable choice.
Right.
I mean, she's had a really hard day.
She just rolled out of a car.
Yeah, well,
And no one saved her. She saved herself.
she saved herself, and I think that she's going to I hope that the writers will give the character enough to do that she'll flounder a little bit as she tries to find her footing without it being about a dude, without it being like, okay, now I'm in a relationship with Alcide, I'm done with Bill, now I'm with Eric, now I'm with Alcide. I hope that it's not just going to default to that all of a sudden. And I think that the dynamic between Eric and Bill turning it around on her, like being done with her, is going to be pretty fun to watch.
Well, I think just one last point about that scene with Eric and Pam. I think one of the reasons for me personally that I enjoyed watching it so much is rarely do we get a chance to see a scene between two people on the show, even across the seasons, where it's just pure and good and beautiful, like beautiful moments. They had them before, which is awesome. Eric was also involved with him, and Godric used to be in scenes together when you could just tell that the scene was just about establishing history, loyalty, and love. And for this moment, I think the reason why so many of us were like, jaw dropped, not eating popcorn, not drinking our drink or whatever, was because of all those scenes where people are in kind of weird relationships or something's going on, and even in a tender moment, something else is going on that's perking it up. This was just a pure moment.
Except for the vampires outside the window.
No, I'm talking about when Eric and Pam,
Oh, okay.
when Eric and Pam,
we went back there.
Yeah, we went back there.
Okay. All right, well, guys, we're going to pause for a moment because I'd like to talk about Amazon because I bought something very interesting this week. Okay, so, guys, if you purchase from Amazon, here's what you do. Go to AfterBuzzTV.com, click on the Amazon banner. It'll take you right back to Amazon. We get goodies so we can bring you more goodies. And as you all know, if you've been watching the show or our Tuesday night Eureka show with Roth and I.
Week 17.
So I tend to make drunk purchases on Amazon. But this week, I was not buying for myself.
What?
Ooh, I like red.
Present.
I was buying for my family. I know. But, and it was a weird purchase for me because I bought chocolate with bacon in it.
I love you. I love you.
I guess I need to buy some for you guys too.
Dark chocolate and bacon cupcakes are my favorite thing on the
I've never heard
planet.
that before. Thank
It's
God.
apparently
delicious.
wonderful. I'm vegetarian, so I have never had this. But everyone I know loves it, so I buy it for them.
I think
You can make
I
an
think-
exception.
I think bacon
No.
deserves an unsense. Here, bacon,
bacon.
bacon, bacon, bacon.
So I'm
chocolate,
sorry. Can you
chocolate,
please
bacon,
review?
bacon.
It's chocolate covered bacon.
No, it's bacon sprinkled into the chocolate.
Yes.
So it's salty and sweet together. I don't even know why I'm selling this because honestly, I haven't eaten bacon in like 20 years. But still,
And were you
also
drunk
do-
when making this purchase?
yes, of course.
Okay, good.
Yes.
They also do sell chocolate covered bacon if you're
Yeah.
interested.
They do. They do.
Chocolate-covered bacon.
They sell every. In fact, I wrote. If you guys Google my name, and I know we didn't introduce ourselves. I'm Jenna Busch.
I'm JC.
I'm Roth.
And I'm Yerman.
Okay, so if you Google my name and bacon, there is actually an article I wrote about all different weird products, and there's like bacon tooth floss, bacon lip balm.
There's all kinds. There's bacon
tooth
bourbon.
floss? Isn't the whole
Bacon
point
to-
of floss to get bacon out of your teeth?
I
There's
guess.
bacon chapstick. There's,
There's-
literally.
Is
I have
anyone
so much
hearing
respect
me?
for you right now. I'm
Do,
having a
do.
moment with Jenna Busch, like literally right now.
I'm
Like,
listening to you, Rob.
Bacon.
I love
bourbon.
bacon. I love you now.
Bacon,
Bacon.
bourbon.
Aw, I love you
Bourbon.
too.
Oh my God.
Bacon bourbon?
Yes.
Well, here's the thing, though.
bacon flavored bourbon.
Bacon is not like it's if you just cook a pig, it doesn't taste like bacon. So the things that make it bacony are actually vegetarian. So you can get bacon flavored things that I can have.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you just like smoke a pig, like it's not going to taste like bacon.
Right.
It's all the stuff.
It's gonna taste like smoked pig, which
Exactly.
is also delicious.
Oh my
I'm not
God,
a fan of the
it's-
smoked pig, but I have no problem with anyone who does enjoy the pig. Like I'm not recruiting, but I'm just saying I can actually have the bacon flavored bourbon because I highly doubt there's actual pig in the bourbon.
There is no pig in the bourbon.
Okay, then I can have the bourbon,
And I wish you would.
and I may have to try to
She
buy that
lost
on
me
Amazon.
She lost me on bacon. I'm literally just gonna look at you and like you've glammed me with the bacon.
I've glamored you with bacon.
Yeah, you have.
See, that's the thing. This is really this is seriously the truth. Like I feel like I saw an image once that was like women trying like on a manhunt, and they just had a truck and they jingled meat out of the bag, and this was like meant to attract
Hell yeah.
men.
All
Keep
right,
on talking,
that's
girl.
it. I'm gonna buy
Yeah.
bacon flavored things for all of you
Bacon.
next week. That's what's gonna happen.
Yes.
It's my next drunk purchase. All right, so back
that's
to True
Amazon.
Blood.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the Fairy Club now, just because I
Okay,
want to
good.
switch our topics around a little bit.
Okay.
Because now I have no like Roth and I tend to make goo eyes over all the hot naked men on the show. Now, and I'm glad you guys have your chance, but can we just talk about how the Fairy Club is like Cirque du Soleil for fairies?
Well, it's like Cirque du so erotic. Like it's
Right.
a Cirque du so a Madonna. It would looks.
It's a Madonna video.
It's a
It's
Madonna
like
video.
pansexual.
Right.
It's I think it's got a little bit of
It's
everything.
omnisexual.
Yeah, sorry.
Omnisexual?
That's,
I love that.
I believe that's
Can I
the
get a
description
consult
for
on
Claude.
omnisexual?
I think that's a thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll make
It's
it a
a thing.
thing.
It's totally
okay,
a thing.
sure.
It's a True Blood thing.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah,
here's
I'm
one
checking
one
that.
of the things that sort of
Thank you.
bothered me about it is that just last week we had this great moment with Jason where he was sort of like confronted with what he had been in his life, and he was sort of like determined to change, and then with absolutely no context, he has no issue getting into this limo and going to, and you know what I mean, and like sort of re-entering this blindly lascivious life with these girls that seem rather like club girls.
Right.
Which is
They
fine.
were nice
Yeah,
girls.
but
They
the-
look well read.
Look, he's
okay.
I'm sure they're
They're-
very
I'm
well
sure
read.
they're very well
Okay,
read.
first of all, he didn't know that they were going to a lascivious establishment. The other guy just
I'm
said
sorry,
we're going to
excuse
party.
me, you
Secondly,
get into that limo,
when you're in
you
a
know.
limo with the judge of your district and you're the piddly little deputy, you do whatever he says for you to do.
A,
He's just
why
being
are you
professional.
yelling? Why are you yelling?
And I'm gonna back him up here really quickly. I'm not gonna yell. But what I'm gonna say is Jason is flawed like we all are. I have a battle. This is a personal story. I battle insomnia. And
I was gonna
every
say you
single
tend to have sex with fairies.
I know.
Is that-
I wanted to hear
Absolutely not.
something better than that, JC.
No, but I'm gonna bring it.
This
okay.
is personal, really.
Okay, and every night I want to get to bed, and the next night is gonna be the night I get to bed at a decent hour. I'm gonna tonight. I'm going to bed at 10 o'clock.
But
Actually,
you're at
I'm
the
not.
strip club.
No, you're not.
Exactly.
Till 6 in the morning.
And Jason wants a better life. He did, but then all of a sudden he's at the strip club, and you fall to those vices. You do.
I get that, but they didn't sort of highlight that. And if they had, I actually think that would have been interesting. And maybe
Right.
they will in future episodes. But what it looked like was very, very easy, like no consequences, and the same thing with Andy.
With totally like he's
You
got
know?
this great thing going.
With
He's
Holly.
on the phone with Holly when the judge walks in.
Yeah.
and he's still like, oh yeah, total. Let's hook up with this fairy chick. From
No,
the-
but that's defending Andy. Now, has Andy ever been the pimp daddy? Has he ever had
He has
girls?
not.
All right, so
He has not.
he gets this fairy thrust upon him. And remember, fairies.
Thrust
Thrust
upon
upon him.
It's hard to turn down a fairy, and especially Andy. He's kind of the man.
So
Good
many
Lord.
lines.
So many things, JC. So many things today. I'm not arguing with you about that. That's very true of human nature.
Right.
Right.
But what didn't work for me entirely, I mean, but it was that it didn't seem to kind of pull that out in the story, in the script with the characters. It didn't seem like there was an awareness on the part of the show that
Okay.
these were things, do you know?
Like the writers dropped it, perhaps, or
I
just
don't
with so many
know.
things going on?
I mean, I don't know, and maybe that will play out kind of at a later date. And I think one of the things is about fairies that we'll discover is that they do have this huge sexual lore, and that's one of the things about Sookie and Jason is that because they have the fairy blood, they have this sexual allure. So perhaps they're just kind of like blinded by the fairy sex. I don't know, you know?
Yeah, that's possible.
And that may come out. I just think that they have struggled from day one with how to handle the tone of the fairies.
Yeah.
And I don't entirely think that this solved it. I mean, this is better than what happened in the previous season, I think, for the fairies. It's just that I think that fairies are a mythological creature that could be like the elves in the Lord of the Rings and be very, very cool.
Now, are
Right.
they stronger in the books? Perhaps the
I
fairies.
think I
Yeah.
like the fairies in the books.
Yeah, the fairies in the books are great.
Yeah, they have like a whole different. And the thing is, like with Claude and Claudine in the books, is that Claude does have a strip club, but it's a real world strip club, and I think it helps when you have something as big as a fairy in terms of like mythologically speaking and using your imagination to ground it a lot in sort of everyday things.
Right.
And I think they haven't really done that yet. And the fairies in the books are warriors. I mean,
Yeah.
they're
And-
fierce.
And that's what I think that's coming. I've heard like in the blogs and people saying that there's possibly an upcoming fairy war. Right?
Yeah, there
Yeah.
will be a fairy war.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's sticking to the books at all, it's just how they're. I just feel like they haven't nailed
Nailed.
how to kind of craft who these creatures are and what they're all about.
Right. And I think what you said about the Lord of the Rings elves is sort of how I always saw the fairies in the
Yeah.
books, is that they're these beautiful ethereal creatures and they've got steel behind them. And
Yeah.
so when you see a bunch of them giggling like, oh my God, look, it's the club, it's awesome, and like that I think is a problem. Like I
think
don't,
so,
sorry,
too.
did you like that noise, JC? You seem to really have enjoyed that noise.
Right. I mean, because it looks to me like
Sounds
you
like my
could be
dating
in
life.
any club on Sunset Strip. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You could be
Well,
in any club on Sunset Strip with a bunch of people going
Right, there's
like,
nothing otherworldly about it.
My question is, how does the judge make reservations? He's like, I'm a VIP here. Like,
Right.
what? He's
They
it's,
probably
it's
come
a
get
club.
him.
It's a club in the middle of a meadow. There's
he
no
doesn't know that.
office. There's no but what number is he dialing? That's the question.
Well, maybe they
Magic.
call him.
And a
They call magic.
big question I want to
Magic.
ask about Andy and Jason and the judge being, is it judge or sheriff?
Judge.
Judge. Yeah.
The judge being in Fairyland. Remember, if they're in Fairyland for 20 minutes, that's equivalent to a year, right?
Yeah,
So what's going to
well,
happen
yeah.
when they come back?
Well, this is the thing, is that I think that the club that they're at is actually not in the fairy realm.
Yeah,
it's kind of in a
midway.
midway
Okay.
area.
That's what I'm thinking.
So
That's
that-
why they
so
call
that-
him refugee.
Yeah, it's like a
Same.
refugee
Yeah.
camp, and so
It may just be cloaked.
Yeah, it could be cloaked. So
Yeah.
those time laws are not applying in the same way in
Okay.
that realm as they are, which indicates, that why are they in a refugee camp? Refugee from who? I don't think they're refugees from the vampires, because then they would have been the refugees from the vampires a long time ago.
Right, and that's something that sorry to interrupt. That was something that it occurred to me when Hadley showed up.
Yeah.
That she thinks Sookie's dead. She's surprised that Jason isn't. Like, they've been in the world with vampires for a long time, and
Right.
so has she. And if any vampire, she was with the
She
queen.
was with the queen.
So if any vampire, any half fairy or quarter fairy or whatever they are, is going to be drained in 2 seconds, that would have happened already.
Yeah, exactly. And so she's been fed some kind of line by people who are obviously controlling her. I mean, that's
Right.
what becomes really clear. So the question becomes why? And why are they trying to collect all of the quarter breeds and half breeds and bring them into their fold?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
You
and are
know?
they keeping them separate? Is that because Hadley obviously is not supposed to be saying what she said about
Right.
their parents being killed.
Right.
Does this storyline, do we have time for this storyline this season?
I mean, I think that we do if they thematically, because here it falls in line with the same thematic of progeny. I mean, this is where Jason and Sookie came from, and you're bringing in what happened to their parents. I think if you stick with how it relates to who they are now, you have time to set it up to really explore it next season.
Okay.
Right.
But what happens with the show is then eventually all of these pieces have to kind of come together, and that's what I'm wondering.
What does
how-
Lilith have to do with the
What
fairies?
does Lilith have to do with the fairies?
Right.
Oh yeah, that chick. I forgot all about her.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, all right, let's talk a little bit about iTunes and how you guys need to subscribe and rate us nicely, please.
Yeah.
That makes you laugh every time I do it.
It's the voice.
Okay. Well, rate us nicely and make sure you tell your friends. Subscribe. Okay. So what? No, the reason I did that fast.
And scene.
That
And
was
scene.
really brief.
No, the reason.
Tell a friend.
There's a reason.
Okay.
Because we have to talk about the podcast app.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. So
You hooked us.
I totally
Yeah.
hooked you. See how I
Yeah,
did that?
JC and I bought it.
You
Nice.
totally bought it.
Yeah.
All right. So if you have an iPhone, get the podcast app. And it'll hook up all your podcasts, everything you subscribe to, all in one place. You can,
going.
do you want to play with my phone? Because it's R2D2.
R2D2. If you guys are watching us at AfterBuzzTV.com, she has the R2D2
R2D2.
sleeve. Does it beep or anything? Does it make?
Oons.
Oons? Is that your?
That's your R2D2. Fantastic.
Seth MacFarlane's ringtone, random side note, Seth MacFarlane's ringtone is in fact R2D2 because it went off in the middle of my interview.
Oh, nice. Well, if
Nice.
you want to know the depth of nerdiness that I have, if
I
the
do.
swords and the spears didn't get you, when I've got the do or do not, there is no try is one of the.
Or do not.
Thank you. Oh, that
There
was
is
good.
no try.
Yeah, no, I did that. That's my voicemail thing. Zelda's surprise thing is my text message. Yeah.
Wait,
I can't sit next to you next week, seriously, because Bacon, Zelda, R2D2, this is...
Wait, I feel like I should say, oh, you would do anything for me because you love me.
You love me. wait. I feel like R2D2 and Do Not Try to and Yoda lead us really easily into Lafayette because here's the thing: is that he totally as we said last week, when he succumbs to the dark side, that's when the demon is able to take him over.
Oh, took him over this week.
Yeah.
He
In a
messed with
big way.
Sookie's car. What did he say? Santa Muerta.
Yeah.
Saint Death.
Saint
Yes.
Death. What? So
Saint
how
Death,
do you
come
guys?
to me.
I mean, here's the thing, though: is that how then does that play in to everything else that's going
Yeah,
on?
because this is something that we have nothing in the book that we can
to
base
reference.
this on.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm jumping the gun, but I don't know if you guys stuck around. You guys didn't stick around for the previews of next week.
Yeah, we were outside.
And it's okay. I don't know if it's a spoiler, but it's to
Spoiler.
expect next week. Sorry.
Alert.
Is it Ruby Jean?
Uh-huh.
Ruby Jean is like chanting or something, and next to her is, and I saw it for a glimpse. It's Jesus's head.
Ooh, Jesus' head.
Yes.
Zombie Jesus! Zombie Jesus!
Yay!
Yes.
Zombie Jesus! Boom!
But it's just his head. It's his head, like on a table, like on. It seemed like a table or by her bed.
It's
Zombie
just,
heads it, Jesus?
It's
Zombie
just
head?
his
Sure.
head right now.
Right? Maybe she'll stitch it back on. You
So
know.
you're calling it? Then zombies are gonna
Zombie
be
Jesus. Mm-hmm. Boom.
boom. Okay, AfterBuzz exclusive.
AfterBuzz exclusive.
Totally.
All right.
Totally.
Zombie Jesus.
AfterBuzz TV exclusive.
Thank you.
Giggity.
Sorry, my finger wasn't on the trigger because
Finger on the
think-
trigger.
That's another dirty thing.
Ben, you're our R2.
Did that work? Hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You got it. No, totally.
Yeah, you got it.
No. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I think for next week we're
Okay,
gonna
all right,
need
okay.
like all Star Wars noises.
Yeah, all Star, 100% all Star Wars all the time.
Yeah. I think
Cosplay,
so.
Star Wars. I bring it up
Yeah,
every
we
week.
still have to figure out what week we're doing our cosplay and bring Tara Buck back.
Yes.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
So hopefully next week or 3
No,
weeks.
next week we have a
whole-
special
we have a
surprise guest.
special,
Is it next week or the week
fancy
after?
Surprise.
I think
The 10th, didn't you say?
I think it's the
the
10th.
10th is next week.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Isn't that crazy?
Oh.
Yeah. All right. We'll figure out when it is, but it's we have a very special.
You guys
surprise
should get
for you.
really excited.
You really
Right.
should. Make
Because
sure you
Jenna
stay tuned.
and I are going to be really excited.
if you try to guess who it is.
That's an Easter egg. If you've been listening to all our
Yes.
podcasts, right there, what they just said is paramount.
Yes. And we will be doing the podcast from the couch with our special guest.
Maybe on his lap.
Maybe on his lap. Probably.
Oh, we know it's a man. Okay.
Oh,
Well, you knew it was a man anyway.
Or her lap.
No, it's his lap. It's
Too
fine.
late.
Sorry.
It's totally fine.
So
All right.
okay, so this is what you think. So what do you think that has to do? Like, how is that going to play out with where Lafayette's going? I mean, what?
Lafayette needs to be saved.
Oh,
He does.
he needs
And
an exorcism.
I don't possibly remember we've
And
been talking
Tara's
about
mom totally does that.
Yeah, and Tara's mom. Wait, not Tara's mom. I'm thinking of Ruby Jean.
Ruby Jean.
Being very happy, remember, with Lafayette and Jesus' relationship.
Yeah.
So she's going to do what she can to connect them. If
Okay.
it means possibly a zombie,
Zombies.
or maybe even, as Jesus said when this was, I remember the exact words, but this isn't the last time you're going to see me.
Yeah.
You're going to see me in a different shape or form, perhaps.
Yeah.
And that's through, since Lafayette's a medium, that's it. Next week we're probably going to find out the connection that Jesus is going to be back.
Yeah.
And it's going to save, because Lafayette ain't doing too well.
He's struggling right now.
Yeah.
He's battling he's literally battling his internal demons at this point.
I mean, he's tried to kill Sookie twice.
He's tried to kill her. Well, no, he tried to kill everyone once with the bleach, the whole bar, and then he tried to kill Sookie once. And I think this is a pretty interesting angle. I mean, it works really well as like a metaphor. Why are you looking at me like that?
Because you're talking. What?
It's all good.
No, but tying it in about the progenies and whatnot, and just they're Lafayette's mom and Lafayette. So it's connecting. It's all you've been right the whole season. It's just about mother-daughter. Somewhat right. All right. All right. Leave it alone. What do you think, Yerman? What's going to play out with Lala and
Lala.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's going to be an exorcism. I would like to see him kind of be able to tap into it and get control of the demon and kind of find his strengths of being a medium and possibly having powers of his own through that realm. It would do no good, in my opinion, to have an exorcism because he wants to be connected to Jesus in a certain way. And I think that'll be, like you said, I agree with you. I think he's going to find a way to use that medium capability to have Jesus and his demons be part of him and be able to connect to the things that made him feel whole instead of technically exorcising him and pretending that didn't happen.
Well, I think we should move on to Terry because we got the real story this week. We got some really interesting backstory on what actually happened during the war.
Yeah. Right.
It wasn't pretty.
No.
So did he drop a hit of acid? Was that what it was? There was booze and LSD.
I couldn't tell what he took.
I
couldn't tell what the drug
was. It might be
was.
LSD, but I'm not sure.
It could have been mescaline. It was something.
With my vast experience, I should totally been able to
bought
tell
it on
that.
Amazon.
Exactly. You could have bought it on Amazon through AfterBuzz.
No, it was neat to see that they saw the city on fire, and then the little Iraqi boy that came out and ended up shooting and killing him, and that's when all hell broke loose.
It was
I can't
bold.
speak right now.
I think it was pretty bold move on the part of the writers to do that scene.
They wiped out a village. They wiped out a whole whole family, and
but it explains a lot about Terry.
PTSD.
Yeah, because I mean he's been twitching for seasons, and and we were saying no, don't mess with Terry, but like. This really does explain everything about him and what he's going through now. And I mean, we still don't know what's going on with the fires or, why they're doing it. So they did run into their friend.
Private Ella.
Yeah. He's in a bunker with lots of pictures of fire.
With much crazy all around.
Not just fire. Didn't you guys notice like the demon shaped thing, like the succubus or whatever?
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is true. I mean, here's the thing is that I actually think the storyline is strong in and of itself if they were soldiers in Iraq who were high and and sort of things got out of control, because I feel like that's very human, and it would traumatize you. And I wonder if we really need a supernatural element in that particular story. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's something that soldiers suffer with all the time, and and things sometimes do happen with people with PTSD. Some tragic things do happen. Some people handle it, some people don't.
Right.
Well, what if it's maybe it's not real, because they are suffering from PTSD, and maybe they saw some. Remember, they did drop some acid, more than likely. And you're right, because possibly zombies now, vampires, were-panthers.
Yeah.
I mean, just. When does it stop?
When does it stop? And at what point is it like, well, why? I mean, if they have to bring it in once they're sort of back here stateside, but what happened in Iraq, I think, could have been enough in and of itself to traumatize him, to traumatize the rest of the group. And then maybe the one of the people is sort of like being overcome by some kind of spirit that's going to relate to the rest of the show or something like that.
Do you think the spirit of the boy or maybe the family?
I don't know.
Could be. I mean, that's pretty standard with hauntings, vengeance. And also, I think you could say, because they've started with the Vampire Authority, which we'll get to in a moment, they've started branching out into the world and talking about, this is what I passed in Sweden, and this is, we're talking about uprisings in Egypt. And so they're talking about global supernatural stuff.
And they're talking about global I mean, here's the thing that's really cool about it is that the parallel in the global international politics of the vampire world in terms of uprisings over fundamentalist religious beliefs obviously parallel our actual world and sort of worldwide global uprisings and kind of the fundamentalist movements that exist all over the world, in different religions. So I think that's kind of a cool thing that he's pulling out. And I think then to actually address the Iraq war in this way is pretty bold, and it is something that affects our actual world. What I don't want to see happen is to have that be undercut, because I actually think this is a strong storyline for Terry, who's a character that Jenna and I love, this character, and I actually was happier this week because I thought it served him pretty well.
Yeah.
Still don't trust Patrick.
No, I don't trust Patrick either. But I do think that I totally agree with what you're saying. Like it is such a strong story, and it is something that's happening with our soldiers. And so to see it play out and to actually address what's happening to soldiers over there is really bold.
I'm impatient with his storyline for some reason. I just want to find out. I just want to find out everything about it, because the other stuff is developing and I'm okay with it, but I just want to find out Terry's. It's been going on since season 1. I just want to know everything.
You do?
Me
I
too.
don't know why, but then where do you go from there? I'm sure they'll devise something, but I just want to know. I just want it
to be worthy of him and of having the chutzpah to actually like look at an actual war. I just want it to ultimately be worthy.
Well, that's
of
that's the risk you take, though. If you draw it out over 5 seasons, after a while, you're going to get a lot of people like JC and I. They're like, okay, seriously, just lay it down. We've gotten the juice on everybody else. Give me something on Terry. But if you wait that long and you don't have something, and then you take the risk of no matter how hard you try, it still won't be a solid, take on what could have happened to him. Like they might just unfortunately drop the ball somehow because you just dragged it on too long.
I don't think they'll waste him.
Yeah,
it's Todd Lowe. I don't think they're. He's wonderful. I don't think they're going to waste it.
If they've devoted so much time throughout the seasons, that they've had the plan all along, and it's going to pay off. I'm just really. It's got to.
Yeah.
I have total faith in the show.
And he, as an actor, can definitely
for sure.
handle whatever is about to happen for him. I thought he was great in that scene.
Also.
The only tiny thing that I didn't like about that scene was that they ran out after they heard gunfire.
Right.
Which seemed like an odd response.
Yeah. Also, I like his yellow glasses.
Plus, we like the yellow glasses.
Very, very much. Okay, well, let's spend a minute on Jason and Jessica.
Yes.
Because we're starting to see a really deep connection between them. Last week with the friendship, and this week she ran in to save Sookie and Jason by glamoring Andy. I thought that was actually really cool. I also like the loyalty she's showing to Sookie. I love that character. I love the character Jessica. I think she's fantastic. So I thought that was amazing. And then when she's in the room with Bill, and have you gone to see Sookie? Because the thing with
You're
Sookie
just
and
in all
you was
impressions
just,
today.
that happens.
I love it.
But you and Sookie is different than you and other people. And I don't remember the exact line, but
well, that was it.
Yeah,
that was a beautiful scene between Bill and Jessica. I thought even it just. You could tell the impending doom and the fact that he was proud of. I'm sorry, I went off a little bit, but just the fatherly that he was proud of what he I don't want to say created, but in a way he did.
He created her.
he totally did.
her. He's the maker.
That was beautiful. But I wanted to ask a question.
Yeah.
I always have these questions about Andy and Jessica. Why don't if she just glammed him that easily? Why don't they just glam their way out of everything?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
It's something that I thought about too watching that. I was like, they're kind of sparing with the glamoration. And it is a good question.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm wondering if it's because, Bill said, be careful with that. And I think it might be that you can still remember things eventually. And I don't know if this is the case. Guys, if you have ideas, please leave them in the comments. Maybe if you can start to remember things, because even when we had the main ad and people were forgetting things, stuff can come back into your head. It's a memory that's there, so something is burned into your head. So even if we've convinced you that it didn't happen, it's still there. It still happened. So I don't know if maybe that's the case, but I wondered the same exact thing with the "as your maker, I command you." See, I did another one. And why they don't use that more.
Which Tara called out. I'm surprised y'all don't use that one more. Which I think that we're going to see that Pam is pretty liberal.
Wasn't
think
it
so.
wasn't it led to that vampires, even though they are what they are, that they themselves also consider themselves beholden to a certain group of laws, certain set of rules.
Some of them do.
And those laws may involve you shouldn't glamour as much as you think you should. You shouldn't say, as your maker, I command you all the time. Like, you should use it.
I would use it all the time.
Well,
too.
Just saying.
She makes chocolate-covered bacon stuff. She can command me to do anything.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
I feel like it would take an awful lot of restraint not to use those tools.
Right.
It's true.
You know,
I don't think
like-
I have that kind of restraint.
You know.
I'd also like to point out that it's really sweet when your dad thinks your pot isn't good enough and tells you to get better stuff.
Yes.
That was
This
kind
is
of
some
awesome, Bill.
Swag business you got here, baby doll. I think the thing too that she said about you and Sookie is different than Sookie and anybody else, I think is a little shout out from the show to the fans that are really pro Sookie and Bill.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's also signifying that Jessica is also doing her part to kind of help Bill keep an eye on Sookie. And that's another reason why I'm sure Bill is kind of proud that, you know, he did okay with how he made Jessica, because she's helping him even when Bill can't be actively involved.
Well, I wonder if she also sees Sookie as something of a mom, because they were together. Bill and Sookie were together when this happened, when she was made. Sookie helped her. Sookie, you know, didn't run away, didn't freak out, and actually really did help her get her stuff together.
Yeah.
So maybe she looks at Sookie that way.
I think Roth, you hit it on the nose. I think if you go back, Tara and Bill had a scene, and did you know? You know, Tara was, everyone's bails Sookie out,
Yeah.
and just going at Sookie, and you could just see on Bill's reaction, just everything. You're right, like Alan Ball and everyone is just saying, "Hey, remember,
Yeah.
it's still about Sookie and Bill, perhaps."
Yeah, I think
Keeping the flame
ultimately-
alive.
Keeping the flame of love alive.
So right now you think it's going to be Bill and Sookie at the end.
I don't know if at the end of this season.
No, I mean at the end of the series.
At the end of the series, I do.
I kind of do
I think
too.
everybody does.
I
in
I
some
think
way.
that would bookend it.
I think,
Yeah.
I think that especially for the show, the book has gone off and sort of done its own thing. Although it may be heading back in that direction
Yeah,
too.
you never know.
But yeah, I mean, ultimately, when I was reading the books, Sam was a player in this romance too, and I always thought at the end of the day it would only make sense for Sookie to end up with Sam, because no one else was human. You know, he was to me the only person that she could really have a family with and settle down with and live a normal life with, which was something that she really wanted. But I think that the show is its own universe, and that I think they really. Especially frankly, life imitates art, art imitates life. They're married. Anna Paquin and Stephen Moyer are married. People know that. It's something people really respond to. They're having a baby. I think they want to see them end up together.
Yeah.
I think they're shipping for it.
Yeah, shipping for it. Yeah, I mean, we should actually mention Sam, because he had a little issue with some.
Just a
The
small
new
one.
mystery.
Right.
Just a small issue.
Who shot the shifters?
WTF? Who shot the shifters?
I don't know.
I know. Like, I really honestly have no
killing me.
theory on
I
this.
have no theory for the first time ever.
I didn't see that coming
on
at
True
all.
Blood. I
Yeah.
didn't see that coming either.
Yeah, no, I have
And
no
another
idea.
storyline.
No, I know, but it has to connect back.
It has
right?
to. I wonder if it has anything to do with the wares.
Luna and the Wares.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Because
mean,
Luna hung out with them too.
yeah, and they chose him over Luna, as they
Yeah.
said. So it probably
Marcus's
does.
mom?
It's possible.
But
It's possible.
why?
Hell, maybe it was Luna. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I really don't know.
Why would they do that though? Because the Wares kind of released Sam knowing that Alcide was responsible, and technically speaking, Sam should be like, okay, well, I got
Shifters
caught.
and wares don't get along, though.
Yeah, they don't, and I don't know if it was to send a message to Alcide.
It probably
to be like,
was
get
to send
back
a
here
message
and
to
lead.
Alcide.
If you don't want us to do whatever we want to do,
Okay,
get
your
back
friends.
here. Get back here and lead.
And
Yeah.
great that you brought up Alcide. I kind of saw that he lost a little bit of the Boy Scout. He's kind of been the Boy Scout, since he's been on the show, and how he lied for Sookie to the Pelts, and because he always chooses the righteous path.
Yeah.
He really does. But now I'm starting to see him start choosing.
When he's not choosing crack whore crazy people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by righteous path you mean like whatever path Sookie's on. I don't know if that's
I'm
slash
I'm
Debbie Pelt's
kidding.
path.
I'm
No,
you're
no,
absolutely
no,
right.
no.
But you're absolutely right. I mean, it's somewhat righteous.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Yeah, but I think Alcide's purposely, lied to him just, of course for Sookie, but still, why? I mean, are we going to start seeing him making some of those other choices, those choices that make him flawed, more
Yeah,
flawed?
maybe.
Just,
Which would be cool.
Yeah.
Because then he's in the mix.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'd like to see him backed into leadership in a way.
Yeah.
I think that'd be kind of interesting.
He'd be a good leader. I mean,
Yeah.
And
a
they've
Boy
kind
Scout.
of groomed him for it. I mean, he is. If he doesn't exude alpha male, I don't know what does. They basically made him out to
Like
be
I
such.
said about
Yes.
Magic Mike, you guys.
Yeah.
Outsy.
On that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more.
Hey there, good buddies. The handle's Woolly Bear. I'm a truck driving man, but I'm not that old school kind of truck driving man, no. I like to listen to podcasts while I'm driving through these great United States of ours. And my favorite podcasts in the world are from AFTERBUZZ TV. And why? Because AFTERBUZZ TV is like a post-game wrap-up show for all your favorite TV shows. Like Jersey Shore, Dancing with the Stars, Mad Men, and a whole truckload more. I like listening to my Gossip Girl podcast, catching up with all my fellow fans and getting all the latest news and gossip. No, I got some strong opinions. And AfterBuzz TV lets me share those opinions with thousands of other listeners. Woo-wee, what a feeling. I used to doze off on those lonely stretches of road. And don't worry, I got the cruise control. But now I'm wide awake and listening to all the AfterBuzz TV goodness. Check them out. Give them a holler. And tell them the old Woolly Bear sent you.
We were just talking about bacon again. Well, during the commercial, just so you know. I'm sure you were as well.
Are you aching? Yep. Or some bacon? Yep.
Bacon.
All right, so let's talk about the Vampire Authority.
Yes.
First off, we have to
Speaking
talk
of
about... Wait, how is that?
Because he got fried.
I want to
Okay,
see. I want to see
that's
Ross
what
take
you do with
yourself
bacon.
out.
And breathing.
So there is a leak. Somebody
Yes.
leaked the information about where Russell Edgington is.
Yes.
And it's not Pam.
No.
So...
Well, okay.
Oh, we don't think it's Pam.
Hang
So let's
on.
review. The 4 people they mention are who?
Bill, Eric, Pam, and Alcide.
Yep.
So, however, hold up, wait a minute. That last moment, thank you. That last,
Excuse me, hold my
excuse
baby.
me, hold my baby and take my earrings. So, hold up, wait a minute. You bring out the worst in me sometimes, JC. I swear to God. We were. God.
That was awesome. The earrings was a nice touch. Hold my earrings.
Hold on, wait a minute. Listen, because here's the thing. When she's teaching Tara to feed, to suckle at the teat of the vein, as it were,
Melanie.
as the little baby in Melanie, did she not sound a little sanguinistic?
Aha! I knew you were going to say
We
that.
talked.
Excellent
Yes,
choice.
we've talked about this before. Yeah, totally.
Yes.
She
I
does.
don't think she did it. I mean, I honestly don't think she would betray Eric.
Yeah, no.
Right.
I really
No.
don't.
No.
But did she?
But does she
not?
feel like But would she feel like she is betraying Eric?
But did she
Oh my
not
gosh.
sound a little sanguinistic?
I would, because honestly, right when you first said that, I thought, oh no, this go crazy. Because it for me would just break the fabric of the show. You know, the relationship between Pam and Eric, it's fundamental to the show. But he did release her, and I just said, where's her arc gonna go?
Right.
And the fact that I'm
Could she not go
could she
her
be the
own way
lost?
at that
Yeah.
point?
Humans
And
can't
then-
hurt you
lost sheep?
anymore.
Yeah.
They're there for food.
Right. They are for food. And Pam's always had no time for people.
And she
Right.
is somewhat anti-human as
is.
she became a vampire because she didn't want nicely done. Are you blown away?
well played, Ross.
well, thank you.
Are you scared? You should be.
But-
Sanguinista.
So that's oh God. So that's interesting. I mean, it could have been because it's highly unlikely it's Alcide. Though I
Yeah.
think the moments in the show where Bill and Eric are outside and they see Sookie with Alcide, and like I don't think we give her a choice. She's going to help us. So
Yeah.
maybe they're going to try to get information about whether Alcide was the leak
Yeah.
through her.
Yeah, possibly. But I mean, see, even
I don't
if,
think he's the lead,
even
but-
if Pam didn't do that, like even
Right.
if somebody, perhaps they were bugged or somebody, you know, there was some
Easy
other
enough,
way.
Yeah.
Could she not be swayed in that direction at this
Oh, I think she
point?
could.
You know?
In next week's preview, when they flashed it, we watched. Did we watch it twice? Or I know I just was so focused on it. They showed a scene where they're pulling Russell out of the garage,
Right.
out of the cement, and it looked like the person that was doing
The
it.
cement.
That was cute.
Yeah, it's okay.
That was adorable.
Yeah.
Continue.
Thank you. It looked like it was a woman that was pulling him out.
Oh, interesting.
If you watch it, it looked like and she was covered up, and all you could see was like her face.
Did she look like Nora at all?
I couldn't. It was such a quick cut. I couldn't tell.
Or
Salome?
Or Salome? Or Lilith. My God.
Lilith.
Yeah.
See, that's the other thing. It could be
was it?
Lilith. Maybe
It could be
Lilith
Lilith
is. I
herself.
mean, if she's the first vampire and she's super, super powerful or whatever, maybe she just knows where everyone is.
That's
If you guys are
true.
watching, chat roll.
Yeah,
or,
I mean,
Or-
seriously,
or-
throw some comments in.
Hold up.
Wait a minute.
Hold up. Fairies can read minds.
Oh.
Maybe they want to create a war within the vampires. They want to feed the vampire factions in order to wipe them out.
Boom, shakalaka.
They want to get them to
Nice.
wipe each other out.
yeah.
Wow. Okay,
Okay.
guys, you leave this in your in the comments. What do you
Throw
guys
some
think?
comments out there.
So let's talk about the Vampire Authority now, because
course you
first
go.
of all,
Yeah, let's
Christopher
throw
Maloney.
a shout out.
Let's talk about Christopher Maloney.
Amazing.
We love him very, very much. He was brilliant with his stick of death, which is from the bow that Judas Iscariot hung himself with.
Stick of death.
The stick of death. That's what I'm calling it the stick of death.
Stake of
he
death?
thought the big long name was too fancy, so
Yes.
I'm renaming it the stick of death.
The stick of death.
And the silver on it is from the 30 pieces
Judas.
that Judas sold Jesus for. So.
And did no one else get the link? Sorry to interrupt. Did anyone watch Dracula 2000 besides me?
No.
Back when Gerard
Well,
Butler was not a big name, and he would actually play Dracula.
no,
Oddly
all
enough, they
you.
drew the conclusion that
All Yerman.
no, really, me.
100%.
It was actually an interesting
You were
twist.
the only one.
All Yerman all the time.
I get it. Let me just explain real quick. It was the one time they basically likened Dracula to. They basically said Dracula was Judas. That was the parallel they draw in that storyline. And go.
Okay. So, Jacob Harris.
No.
Oh,
Shout out, Jacob.
Lord,
What's
we
up?
love you, Jacob.
I know. But you know what was cool too at the end of it with the blood? And
I know.
You will not sway us from our righteous cause.
I know.
I think his eyes actually twitched because their
They
little
did.
blood
Yeah.
Twitched
came
at
in.
the
And
end.
he's like,
Ross did right at that moment as well.
Yes, that was kind of amazing. That was kind of amazing because it kind of goes into what we were saying at the end of last episode, which is that even if your cause is righteous, which I think the mainstreaming cause for the vampires probably does make a lot of sense ultimately, because I'm a human and I don't want to be food.
Right.
But even if your cause is righteous, if you can still cross the line when you don't allow room for dissent,
Right.
Which I mean, I think it was gorgeous. His whole bloody crazy face.
I know, and Carolyn's face, well, Rosalind in the
Yeah.
show, with just the 3 drips of blood, like, crap.
Okay.
Yeah, and
The
I
shiz has hit the fan.
totally, and
Okay.
I think it was cool too that all of them look worried, except
Yeah.
Christopher Heyerdahl, by
Yes.
the way, who even in his 3 lines was
Yeah,
amazing,
amazing.
and Peter Mensa
Yeah.
from oh my god. So I think that. I mean, I think that all of them have things that, like secrets, that need to be uncovered. I don't know how much of it we'll see. But there was a point I was going to make, and I don't remember what it was. So I'm going to make a new one now. But I think that there's someone else who's Sanguinista.
In the group?
Yeah.
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 Well,
There
He
has to be.
Salome.
alluded to it. He alluded to it. That
I remember what I was going to say. Okay, so
I hope it's him.
it would be really
did you guys
interesting
buy
if it's
that-
him.
did you-
And we know Salome, of
not,
course. But
I'm sorry. Not.
Here, while you think.
Thank you. Why am I drawing a blank right now? Not the Guardian.
the Chancellor.
No, the one we
Judas.
love. The one we love.
Christopher Maloney?
No,
No,
not
Heyerdahl.
Christopher Maloney.
Christopher Heyerdahl, yep.
I hope it's Christopher Heyerdahl, and the reason is because when he was doing the original interrogation, I was like, he seems like a believer to me, and he's making all of the quips.
Yeah.
You know, about like, dude,
It's just a
a
book.
book, and he was
Yeah.
high when he wrote it.
I love that line.
You know?
Yeah.
But what I remembered I was going to say is that all of them were joking about the Chancellor doesn't like us to say bad things about the book.
Right.
Why?
Why?
Interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
did you guys think that Jacob's character got set up? Is there a chance that he might
He
have
didn't
got set up?
look.
I
No, he
don't
didn't
know.
look like he was.
He wasn't set up.
No.
Okay.
Because he was like, I was,
So he was one-
infiltrating them.
So you're thinking he was one, and now there's yet still another.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than Salome.
I think other than Salome, I think Salome is building an entire army, and she's
think
about
so.
to take over from the inside.
I'm glad that we had that performance by Christopher Maloney at the end, where
Yeah.
he unfortunately took out Jacob. But because I was worried the last few weeks, aside from his first scene, I loved him in that first scene when he made his presence known.
Yeah.
But I started feeling like the big baddie was going to be Salome, and I felt like maybe Maloney was taking a little bit of a back seat until right now.
Yeah.
Is he
Yeah.
a big baddie, or is he just a righteous? Is he just a paladin? Is he just a
We don't
righteous
know
fighter?
yet.
Yeah.
No, I think he's both, and I think that's what's really interesting about this season, because I think that Salome is a big bad in a way, you know what I mean? But I think that Christopher Maloney is on the righteous path. However, you can still go off track on the righteous path if you don't allow anyone else to disagree with you.
If you're if you're finite.
Right. Then you are no longer righteous.
Yeah.
Then you are off the righteous path. And I think that's actually what makes the whole Vampire Authority storyline fascinating. And I hope they leave it as such, because I think that's really true of life.
Oh, totally. I have a weird thing to mention. Because when Salome was making her solemn vow, she bit her own wrist and she put her fingers in the blood and she said, "I swear by the blood of Lilith," because they've all been drinking the blood of Lilith. Strange they don't run out. Yeah, as you do. But and they're talking about, "Oh, my blood is in you." So I'm just saying, you are what you eat.
Yes.
Or who you eat.
You are who you eat.
You are who you eat.
I'm leaving that alone.
You really, really should.
It's probably best.
Well, I'm just continuing on with our very, very dirty show this week.
Thank you.
Nice, Ben.
Yeah.
Here's the question. Where would you guys fall in? Would you be if you were a vampire, would you be a Sanguinista?
No.
No?
No.
No, I would, because the thing is, what Christopher Maloney says is totally right. There is 1,000 people for every vampire.
Yeah.
So you don't want to piss them off. Like, look, you may eat cows, but if you're one person in a stampede of them, you're dead.
Yeah.
So, I could say the same thing about tofu, but tofu doesn't really attack.
Tofu does attack, by the way.
Oh.
I would not be a Sanguinista, I know, because it's just not my nature anyway. Like, as a human being, I'm a pretty moderate person, you know, and I just am very moderate, and they're way too fundamentalist.
Yeah.
And I do not believe in ever saying I am right and every other group that does not agree with me is wrong.
Totally.
I just can't get down with that.
I think it's interesting that they're kind of playing. I'm trying to rack my brain as far as vampire movies in the past that have dealt with that theme. Haven't been too many, if at all, where they were just generally dealing with, okay, they're vampires, there's humans, vampires feed on humans, they try to keep secret, maybe. But short of this storyline in True Blood now in season 5, and that new in the movie Underworld Awakening, they covered that concept, where what would happen if humans found out about vampires, if they fought back. Would we take over? And in that movie, the humans win. There's just too many of them. And I kind of like the idea of what would happen if these two actually would come to war instead of it all being secret that very few people know about. And I really think that's an interesting take on things.
Okay. All right, well, let's do some predictions.
Ooh, we
have been sort of
kind of
right now.
Yeah, that's okay.
You're AFTERBUZZ TV.
All right, well, then let's make ridiculous predictions.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
I predict Pam will become a vegetarian and no longer drink blood at all, and she'll marry Tara. Not Tara. I'm sorry. I'm saying Tara because I'm talking about Ginger. She'll marry Ginger and live happily in a small cottage with a white picket fence. That's my ridiculous prediction.
Okay.
I had a serious one, but let me give.
You can do
You can do a serious one. I just don't have any more.
I'm the wet diaper of the group. Okay. Who's unearthing? What?
Wet diaper.
Wet diaper?
Yeah, Debbie Downer. Womp womp.
Thank you.
All right. Okay.
Say it.
Rosalind is the one who unearths Russell.
Rosalind.
Interesting.
Interesting. Okay.
Trying to remember how many episodes she told me she filmed on the red carpet.
I shot myself in the foot on that
No,
one.
I think it might have been 5.
God, how do we have the courage to make any predictions with these two?
Well, but
Just like,
but
I
to
have
be
not
fair,
foreseen that.
No, Roth and I have not seen
No.
any episodes beyond this.
So it's
Those are
even
the first 4.
So it's
we're
on
about
next
to be
week.
on. It's
This
it's
is full,
definitely
right.
on next
full
week.
on blank slate for
Let's
us.
get it on.
Go ahead, Yerman. What do you got, man?
I think Terry is technically possessed by something else, and he's the one causing all the fires. He's going out and killing people because at one point, you remember he's in front of.
I don't want Terry to
No,
cause a fire.
because he says you will all die, you'll all pay for things. He's possessed at one point.
He does do that.
And
I
I
love
think
him.
Eller's he's just got PTSD, but I think something's up with
Did
Terry.
anyone die in the fires, though? Did anyone officially die in the fires?
I don't remember. I don't know if it was said.
Because I don't want Terry to have actually killed anyone. Even if you're right, which I actually think is an interesting theory, even if that's accurate, I don't want him to have killed anyone, and I don't think they can have Terry have killed anyone. That's too. Even though he was in war.
Except for that.
Yeah,
Nothing is sacred on
except
the
for the
show,
other
so
people
yeah.
he killed.
No, nothing is particularly sacred. However, if he is possessed, then it's not just him.
Right.
They're all possessed.
Because we never figured out what was happening with oh my god, I want to say Lafayette, but it's not the original bad guy. Oh my god, season 1 blanked. The guy,
Renee?
Thank you, Renee.
Renee.
Oh,
We never,
yes.
and remember that was alluded to.
And they
he's
did bring that
They did
back.
bring
Right,
that
they
back.
alluded to the fact that he's a
Yes.
spirit.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe
and
Renee
I'm
is
just saying,
possessing
maybe
him.
Renee and him are hanging out, drinking beers, causing fires, PTSD.
Wow.
Let's get it on. And
Interesting.
Roth.
Interesting. However, I will say this though. Then the other gentleman has the picture of the demons in the fire. So I would argue and say that again. I just said it, but that if Terry is possessed, it's not just him. It's going to be the whole platoon is in
Right.
some way being
Okay.
overtaken.
Maybe cursed in
and
some
maybe
way.
cursed.
Right.
Yeah.
There could be
shit.
There
cursing.
could be
Satanism.
a curse.
Roth.
Oh, I need to make a separate.
You,
Yeah, you do.
because I'm waiting. I want to hear how wacky your.
Oh, you want my ridiculous?
Yeah,
I want
ridiculous.
redonkulous.
Because
Go
I
out
can't be
there.
the only one to do a weird
Full-on
one.
redonkulous prediction. Okay. I predict that Bill and Eric will suddenly discover their love for one another.
I knew it.
That they will move to New Hampshire and open a winery. Oddly enough, because you don't think of wine coming from, neither do I. That's why I
Right.
think it's weird that they're opening a winery in New Hampshire.
So weird.
Who does that? However, it will be delicious, and boom.
Listeners, comment please on these ridiculous predictions, especially these two. I want to hear what you guys, Bill and Eric, are in a winery.
Do you know how many fans out there would be really thrilled to see that? I'm just saying.
Many.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Here we
So
go.
thank you so much for watching. You can follow AfterBuzz TV on Twitter at AfterBuzz TV. You can follow me at Jenna Busch, BUSCH, like the beer, not the president. You can check out my cocktails with Stan Lee on at SLWOH, Stanley's World of Heroes on YouTube.
Nice. Who'd you have this week? Anyone? Who's your latest
It was
guest?
just me and Stan this week. Yeah, it was awesome talking about Comic-Con.
Nice. And you can follow me at The Everyday Man and tune into some of my other shows. I've got The Bachelorette and Duets here on AfterBuzz. So it keeps on the love theme.
And you can follow me at JRothC, JROTHC, for news, updates, movies, interviews, fabulousness, entertainment.
Oh, and also, Roth and I have a Eureka show, 10 o'clock
Damn,
on
why
Tuesday
do I
nights.
forget?
I believe Erica Chera is calling in this coming Tuesday, so
I like it. I like
she's
it.
a 6-week-old. She can't be here.
Oh, and you can follow me at Twitter, YERMANGUR, and you can catch me on The Real Housewives of New York City this week, only filming at 3 p.m. on Tuesday, but usually at 9 p.m. Tuesday nights, gang. Nice. See you there.
That's
All
it.
right,
From
guys.
Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff. We would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.